here I am 4 or 5 months after
Wow.
moving to LA on the biggest show like right now. I
Yeah.
had no idea, so it's
Yeah.
insane.
So Daphne, player 976, you were eliminated during the episode 6 of Beast Games. Now, I've got to ask, do you think that was karma for shouting out numbers to put off competitors during the ball game in episode 4?
No, I think it's honestly, I took a chance. And what's crazy that you guys don't see is I actually was in platform 2. And I changed last minute to platform 3, realizing that the platform in front of me was also open, which it means that I was meant to go regardless. And then there's also things that happened outside of Beast Games immediately when I got back that wouldn't have happened had I stayed in the game. So I'm a big believer, like, when it's your time, it's your time, and when things are meant for you, they're meant for you.
Do you have any regrets? I mean, what was your thought process? What was your strategy in the ball game when you were trying to put off competitors? Like, do you regret that? Do you feel like that made some enemies in the future?
I have no regrets at all. As a matter of fact, I'd do it again. If anything, I'd play smarter. I think at the end of the day, that challenge specifically wasn't a challenge to where I didn't have to be deceitful. I didn't have to convince people to choose me as a leader and then turn around and eliminate them. You know what I mean? This was a game where it was every man for himself. There's whispering happens to the left, whisperings happen to the right. I lose track around 9 minutes. You can look back and you see there's only like 40 seconds left when I start screaming. And one thing you guys don't see is I actually start screaming in Spanish and in English, forward and backwards in different cadences. Like, my mission was to mess people up, because my thought process behind it was, if you dropped the ball early and I saved you, like, you're welcome. Everything's good to go. But if you held the ball afterwards, you got eliminated, which 20 people did. That's less of a competition. So for me, it was a play on strategy. It wasn't like to be intentionally malicious. It was, there could only be one winner, and I'm just gonna make this a little bit harder. I'm gonna make these a little bit spicy.
Did you tell anybody that you were gonna do that? Was it just I'm gonna do it?
It was impulsive.
So you don't feel like that made you a target in future games at all?
Even if it did, I wasn't worried about it. At the end of the day, like, this is a game. It wasn't anything personal. It wasn't like an I gotcha. It was like, we're just gonna play and let the best man win, best woman win, best individual win, and go from there. So
amazing. So I know you talked a little bit about episode 6 there, about you picking chance. Can you talk a little bit about what that was like? Like, now looking at all of the games, would you have chosen differently if you could have?
No, I still would have picked chance. At the time, I was a lot heavier when the filming was happening, and I looked around at physical and was like, I'm pretty self-aware. There's no way I can compete with these people. And then in mental, I was so exhausted that I didn't trust myself to really be able to think of the things clearly. And I didn't know it was going to be trivia, but knowing that it was something mental, I was like, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm exhausted. Like, I don't trust myself. So
who's your favorite to win now then, if you could predict?
Jeff. He's a wholesome guy. Like, I got to know him personally, about his kids and his wife, and very sounding. Like, he's actually sent me, like, when my episode aired and I was getting so much like hate online and people just commenting nasty stuff, he voice messaged me and was like, I just want you to know that you're an amazing person, and we all know that. And like, it was just cool so that he didn't have to do that, you know what I mean? 100%. And he made it a point to share that. So thank you, Jeff.
What did viewers not see? So I want to talk about the all-inclusive vacation, because obviously you didn't go for the island.
Man, it was truly all-inclusive, and not only that, it was like for 3-4 days. So we're eating like Caribbean food, and if you guys haven't picked up by now, it was in Panama. So it was cool because all the people in the island speak Spanish. I'm Puerto Rican and Dominican, so I was able to communicate with them. A lot of the foods are very similar, like traditional foods to what we have. Like, it was really beautiful. I got a massage on the edge of a cliff at the sound of like waves where I passed out.
Oh my god.
I got to paint. I still have my painting that I made. We got to paint on the island. We took a painting class. Playing volleyball. I slept in a hammock one of the nights, like, to the sounds of like just the nightlife, like the critters and the ocean. Like, it was really relaxing.
I mean, do you regret not going for the island at all?
Not at all. The vacation that I had, I think even most people felt this way, to where like, okay, even if I did get eliminated after this, I'm at peace with that. Who can say that they were on a $14 million yacht being able to watch, like, live stream the other players, fighting for their lives against Navy SEALs?
Did you get screens?
Yeah.
Like, could you physically watch them?
Yeah,
really?
Both on the island and on the yacht that we were all on. They would live stream it there so we could watch it. And then on the island, on one of the walls, they had a big screen so we could watch it too.
Have you stayed in touch with anybody?
I've actually gone to most local events that have been put on, especially being in California. As soon as everybody got eliminated, we did a little beastie meetup at the beach. And then even when we had the premiere out here, a lot of people flew in for the premieres and stayed for a week, so we got to hang out like before and after. Even just yesterday, I actually hung out with two beasties, and also some of the other villains I've kept in touch with as well.
What about Jeremy? Jeremy's the one I want to
Jeremy
ask.
and I, we talk at least once a week. Yeah, we talk online, and I check in on him, like, how are you doing with all the stuff that's happening, and with what's being said on Reddit. You can ask him right now and he'll say like he would still pick me, and that, you know what I mean? So it's cool because we're on that same page. Like, I'm grateful for him. He did, at the end of the day, was a man of his word, so I gotta respect him for that.
Amazing. So did you get to speak to Mr. Beast at all, like one-on-one, or was it just like a quick
Yeah, no, we did. I told him like thank you for the opportunity, and I did the same with Tariq and with Chandler. I was like, it was really great to actually like hang out with you, because a lot of people think that he came in for 5 minutes and was gone, but the boys actually hung out. Even Jimmy, like, he would come and like talk to people, answer questions, and hang out, and then them would leave. But it wasn't like a 5 minute thing. We've got to really spend time with all the castmates and all the Beast Boys, as I call them.
Something I do want to know is what does happen when you get eliminated? Like, what happened to you? What's the process? Do you just go, right, that's it, book your flight and go? Or is it like you get to watch the others?
No, not so especially with as far as I went in the game, because in the beginning you could have stayed like on set, I think, for a little bit, and then they kind of take you off. But the further along you got, the more NDAs you had to sign, and the tighter it was. So like when we got eliminated, we were separated. Like the people who were eliminated are separated from the people who move forward. And like once that challenge goes in, you don't see anybody again until the other side of it. And then one thing also that people don't realize is, they have actually a good really exit process, because you had to talk to a psychologist on how you feel. How do you feel getting eliminated? Do you think you're gonna be able to acclimate back home? And what was your feeling overall? Did you ever feel this during this time? Blah blah blah. And then like turning in your stuff, signing your paperwork, getting back, like the whole time we didn't have our electronics, our phones, our laptops, nothing. So getting our stuff back and kind of like getting reintroduced to society, I guess you can say, after like weeks weeks of silence. So it was a little bit of a process, but yeah, it was good. They're very thorough. I was impressed.
That's incredible. So how long were you in there from start entering?
August 16th, around there, like the mid-August to September or something. But I would say 5 to 6 weeks total. Yeah.
With that length of time, how did you keep your participation a secret? What on earth did you tell anybody?
I didn't tell anybody. The only person who knew was like my girlfriend and like my brother and my mom. And then people started seeing like little commercials on the prints, and then they're like, wait a second, is that Daphne? And I was like, I can't confirm nor deny. I didn't realize how big this show was gonna be.
Did you know much about Mr. Beast before you applied?
Just a couple of videos here and there of him giving money away to people. That's about it, and I didn't want to do a deep dive and like psych myself out there. Like, I wanted everything to be like a full-on experience, and it was.
So what was the audition process like then? Do you just get told whether you're in or not? Do you have to send an audition tape?
Right, so on the actual, like, on casting networks, it was like, submit a video reel of what you would do if you won, a large amount of money. And so I did, and literally like 2 days later was, hey, we want to talk to you more. And then like a couple days later was, hey, here's some paperwork. Do you have a passport? Are you available these dates? Hey, you've got to do a background check. And then here's a contract. And then bam, I was in. It happened pretty fast. Like, I applied, and less than a month later, like, we were out.
It's nice talking, because I spoke to you, and then there's someone called Andy I spoke to.
I love Andy. Andy I actually met in Vegas.
No way.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a
really cool guy. And again, he was saying how good everything was.
You'll learn that the majority of like what is out there is from early like eliminated contestants. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna say that no one's experience is any greater than anyone else's. I can only speak to my experience, and my experience was honestly beautiful, and it was great, and there was no foul play whatsoever in my experience.
I've got to ask, how much money would you have been happy with looking back? Like, if you feel like you could have turned time a little bit, unfortunately you can't, but if you could and you look back, would you have gone, I should have gone there?
If I would have taken the 100 grand in episode 1, I never would have went to Panama, or I wouldn't have met the people that 100%. I've met now. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna say that I regret it. I think I would have wanted to play smarter. Like, there was a point where it was gonna be between me and Jeremy as the leader for the 1 million, and all I can say is like, good thing they picked Jeremy.
You would have gone, you think, yeah, really?
Like, it would have been nothing personal. At the end of the day, like, $1 million is like life changing, and not only that, I could still be in the game, and there's less of a competition. Like, it's not, like I said, it's nothing personal, but yeah. As much as I want to say no, like, no, I would have. It's different if you're like screwing someone over for 10,000, but for a million, like, okay, look,
100%. A
I'm gonna be like,
million.
I'm gonna get you eliminated, but we gonna be okay, all right?
Yeah. So how would you have spent the £5 million?
My daughter lives in Florida with my ex-wife, so one of the first things I would do is like lay out a foundation of like buying out travel stuff, like for her to be able to come back and forth easily. I would secure like a beautiful house for me, my mom. I would buy my grandma's house in Puerto Rico. I wanted to stay within the family. It's something that's really important to me. I would give back to like some schools for their fine arts departments. Like I said, former assistant principals. That's something that's always been like a special to me. And to give back, I've always worked in like a high poverty, high minority schools, so I would donate, back to the schools, like just to re-up their programs and ensure that all students have access to the fine arts and being able to explore their creative side. And then of course save, you know what I mean, and probably divest in the portfolios in like fashion, fitness, and fetish. Like those are my interests. And outside of that, like save, save, because this is something like a lot of people can just blow through, whereas this can be the foundation to set up my life forever, and for those around me as well, my loved ones, then that we can, be smart with it. So that's what I would have done.
Do you have a little message for the winner? Final question. Not that I don't know if you know who it is, but do you have a message for whoever the winner might be?
For the winner, I'm proud of you. You made it like all the way to the end. I know what it takes to even get as far as I did. So imagining and watching, like seeing us even further, I know it was pretty brutal. So I just want to say I'm proud of you and well played. Regardless of how you played, when you won, like well played. So kudos to you.
Yeah, it is.
And
it is just well
remember
played.
Me.